Hey, welcome everyone. My name's Briggs. This is my dad Brett here, and we're the two owners of Miles Pellet Stoves, bringing you guys, well, a quick crash course guide on what is a pellet stove and how does it work. And right here we have a prime example. And well, Dad, you got anything else to say before we jump right in?
No, I mean for the new folks out there that are considering a pellet stove, we're going to show you how it works, kind of the parts and how they work in conjunction in order to give you a good flame and heat into your home. So follow along with us in our little journey and we'll show you how one works.
All right, let's get to it. All right, everyone. So a quick general summary of what is a pellet stove. It's basically, well, a computerized wood stove. These things will run off of wood pellets and they consist of a few key parts. You'll have an exhaust fan, which draws the exhaust out of the stove and also causes a draft in the stove. You'll then have a convection fan, which blows clean air through some heat tubes up in here of the pellet stove once the pellet stove gets hot, and that's how it heats your home. You'll have an auger that will take the pellets from a hopper on the stove and it'll drop it right into a burn pot as so. These things are controlled by the brain of the system called the control board, and then, well, you have a whole host of different sensors in there too. So basically what happens right here, here's the fuel for it. Good old wood pellets, right as so. The auger will dump the pellets into the burn chamber into this burn pot as so. So once you got your fuel, you'll then have an igniter, which is another key component of the stove. Will be right near your burn pot usually. And then once you have that thing glowing red hot, you have the fuel in your burn pot, and then you have your exhaust fan going, which draws a draft in there. All three of those will then start a fire in the main burn chamber. So once you have a fire going, the stove will automatically, depending on the model and the different timing of the system, will start automatically dropping pellets, slowly building the fire up, building the flame, and having it, well, heat up more and more. And so basically having that going on, you essentially have heat, and that's the short end of it.
Okay, follow along with Brett. Now I'm going to give you kind of a rundown, the basics of a pellet stove. How it works, Briggs explained it, is great, but I'm going to go into a little more in depth. So follow along, here we go. Now, there's a lot of different makes and models out there, so take your time because they're a lot of money, but these are very efficient, very easy to use. And so this particular model, I'm going to open up the doors, the side doors, which you don't have to when you're running the stove, but I'm going to open it up like so. Now, this is the burn chamber or area and the viewing window. This is called a bay window. 1, 2, 3 windows. Those are really nice. Some of them have just one window. Those are nice too. Whatever floats your boat is what Briggs would say. But over on this side, every pellet stove has a handle. This one here is kind of concealed, but there's some here that are right out in the open. So when you open this, ergonomically, this is nice. Feels good. And you only open this when you clean the stove. So it's not like a wood stove where you're constantly feeding it. So when you open it up, yes, there is a very, very nice door seal here. There you go. Inside here, you usually have some brick in the background. That's nice. But right here, this is the slide. And this is where the pellets, do I have some? Hold on. So when you push the button to start a pellet stove, the pellets basically come down this slide and then they go into the burn pot like that. And they go in increments. So when the fire starts via an igniter, which is like, just think of your stove in your kitchen. It gets bright red when you have it on high. And that's what's happening here. There's an igniter, which is just a rod that basically heats the area in there. You get smoke, you get spark, and then you'll get a flame. Once you get a flame, then in increments, these pellets keep dropping, and they keep the flame going, dropping. You understand it. And this is the burn pot that you will take out. And it's very important on a burn pot. You can see this is exactly where the pellets are. Those are fresh, but this is how they burn. And so when I flip this to the side and underneath it, you can see there's air holes. So obviously more air accelerates flame. And so those flames, let me put this back, and every make and model will have a different burn pot. Some are round, some are rectangular, square, whatever have you. You will find that out. But Briggs, if we could go up here, I'll get my flashlight. When the flame, as my hand goes up and hits all of these heat exchanger tubes, and they get hot. And when you come over here, right on the top there are those tubes. And that's where the warm air is blown out into your dwelling. And how does that happen? Follow along. We can look right down here. This is another fan. And this is a convection room air fan. So this turns, blows the heat up, and then out of those heat tubes, heat exchanger tubes, into your room, giving you warm air into your dwelling. This is the igniter. There you go. This starts it, and we'll get too in depth with it. This is the auger motor, and that brings the auger like this, brings the pellets up, and they drop down that chute in the front. Now I'm going to go around the back. This is the back of your stove, folks. And so most pellet stoves, they will take a 3 or 4 inch exhaust pipe, and go by your manual when you install them. But you can go a horizontal vent outside of your dwelling, or you can go up vertically, whatever best suits your family, your home, and of course by code. You have to go by code. And what's really nice, in the owner's manual, it will show you everything, but go by code. And also on the back decal here, will give you some clearances. So the owner's manual will be a lot more detailed. Follow along. And another thing, I'm going to duck down through here. This is a vacuum switch. It's a safety switch. I won't get into it, but every pellet stove does have it. This is the other fan. This is the exhaust fan. So this will draw air into the burn pot, which accelerates your flame, but it also gets rid of the bad air, the exhaust, up your 3 or 4 inch tube outside of your dwelling. So these are very, very, very efficient and easy to use. And if I go up top here, this is a user control panel. They're all different. We'll all make some models, but all you need to do is push a button, it starts. And then the up and down arrow will increase or decrease the heat for your home. And this is kind of a basic rundown. And the basic thing that you will find is that most pellet stoves will have an ash pan. So if I undo this, you can see as the pellets burn in the burn pot, the ashes fall into this pan. So about, I would say, for this much ash, about eight bags of pellets were burnt through here. 40 pounds were burnt through here. And this is the remnants. They were very, very efficient. And you can discard this. Make sure it's obviously cold. But a vacuum is what you need. And a couple little cleaning tools. And to wash your window. They're very, very easy to maintain. And I guess the last thing that I kind of missed is the top of a pellet stove will be the hopper. This is where you will pour the pellets in there, and so you'll have to refill them. So I'll just use a cup here, but you'll use a bag. You just dump them in there until this is completely full, and then shut the door. And so you have clean pellets, like right here, Briggs. Here's 8, 9, 10 bags. Here, 40-pound bags. You can buy them by the bag, or you can buy them by the ton. You'll save money if you buy them by the ton. So there's kind of a run down of the basics of a pellet stove. And I think stick with us here. We're going to light one up so you can see how it works. Okay, viewers, we're going to start the stove. Here is the process. I'm going to hit the start button now. And at this point, the auger motor is turning the auger shaft, bringing the pellets up and down the slide as you can see them dropping into the burn pot. And at this point, your exhaust blower is actually drawing air into the burn pot. Your igniter is turning on, and in due time here you will see a little bit of smoke and a little bit of spark, and then voila, a nice flame. Join us for the show.
All right, everyone, that's it. Hope you learned a few things. Hopefully this video's been helpful. And hey, don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Really helps us out in the long run.
Well, you know, here it is, the ginormous flame. And so this flame, like when I was sharing with you, is hitting the heat tubes, and now that fan is blowing nice warm air out into your dwelling. So
And nice and toasty.
do your shopping. There's a lot of different makes and models out there, and try your best to find the correct position or place for your stove in your home. So take your time and you have it all put together, and you'll have nice heat for this year or any time that you like to heat. So if you have any, I don't know, any questions or comments, you know, let us know. We'll give you some feedback. There's a lot of great models and makes out there, and money doesn't grow on trees, so really do your research, and you'll find the right one for you and your family.
And that's very true. You know, like my dad said, a lot of different makes and models. They come in a variety of price ranges, all different shapes, sizes, colors. It all depends on what you guys like. I mean, how much heat you want in through your home and everything else. And, you know, you touched up on a really good spot that, well, some people may forget is the placement of your stove really matters.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, the biggest thing is buy code and safety for your family. And just take your time with it. And I see a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people just buy a stove and they're not thinking it out. Baby steps, and you'll save money. That's great, but you'll find the stove that hits your budget. That's wonderful. And then you get to that last step to where it's positioned properly in your home where you want the heat, and
It looks good.
and it looks good.
Yeah.
But
The aesthetic.
and I agree with that. But it's a big purchase. But overall, buy code, and it's safe for you and your family. And these pellet stoves, I didn't really get into it, but I will real quickly. They have safety sensors in there, so if the stove overheats per se, it's going to stop distributing pellets and the fire will go out. And there's more. So these go through a pretty extensive testing even before they go into production and to the warehouse, to your home. So rest assured, there's a lot of great models out there, and there's some, well, not so great. So do your research. There's more than reviews and stars. Talk to your friends and family and get some different opinions. We thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you on the next video.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.